Cutting dirty logs like these can be one of the biggest enemies of a chainsaw chain, but I'm going to show you some techniques so you can cut dirty logs like these without destroying your chain. This all started when some dirty rotten so-and-so decided to drag these logs through the dirt and get them all dirty. Some dirty rotten so-and-so just dragged these logs through the dirt. Now they're all dirty. Now how am I supposed to cut these without getting my chainsaw dull? I'll show you how. Look at that mess we are now going to have to cut through. No worries, we have so got this. On this end of it we have dirt over here, dirt on this side, going down around toward the bottom. What is a chainsaw chain spinning bloke supposed to do about this? We could take an axe or our favorite chopping tool, chop a clean spot for our chain to go into. Now we have a clean spot right here, but that's not always practical. And if you have a lot of cutting to do, say if you're cutting it into firewood, that would be a lot of chopping to have to do. What can sometimes be a more practical technique is to make sure when you're cutting into a dirty log, make sure when you get into the dirty part, the cutting part of your chain is exiting the log on the dirty part instead of entering the log through the dirty part. That was a lot of words strung together. I wonder if those made any sense the way I put them together. Let's go over here. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll try to show you. When your saw is going, of course, the chain is spinning this way. We have a dirty side over here, clean side over here. If we cut into the log like this, we're entering on the clean side, exiting on the dirty side. As the cutting teeth are pulling through this way, they are pushing the dirt off and away from the log. If we were to flip around and go the other way, now your chain will be pulling that dirt inside the log where it will do all kinds of mean, nasty, ugly, horrible things to your cutting edge while they are both passing through the log together. When you have a simple situation where it's dirty on one side but the rest of it's clean, it's easy. You just stand on the dirty side so your chain will enter on the clean side. But sometimes it's not always that simple. In this case, it's only clean up here, but then it gets dirty again around here. We have dirt, clean, dirt. Only this small clean spot. Now what are we supposed to do? We have the same situation on the other end. I will show you a technique you can use on this end. Let's save that bigger end for a Super Ninja Turbo Logger technique I'll show you later. Same situation over here. It's dirty over here, dirty right here, only this clean spot right here. If we cut into it this way, it's going to pull this dirt through the log. If we cut it this way, it's going to pull this dirt through the log. Instead of trying to explain what I'm going to do here, I'll just show you. See where I'm going with this? Looks like somebody only exited on the dirty side, even though both sides were dirty. What I did here is I only went in where it was clean, brought it down like so, came around here so I could put it in that hole that was already there where the chain could exit this dirty side all the way through, being careful not to get it into the ground. On the next cut, we have the same dirt situation, but I'm going to do it just a little bit different this time. What did I just do here? The important thing I didn't do is pull dirt through the log. When you hit dirt, a lot of times when you look at the ends, you'll see a streak where you can see that it's pulled dirt into the log. We don't have that anywhere on here. Like before, I cut into the clean part, cut through this side. What I did different, now as I come up like this, I'm pushing chain, cutting with the top of the bar where the chain's moving this way, pushing the dirt away from the log. The advantage to doing it that way is it's faster, you don't have to switch sides, you do it all in one swooping cut, and it makes it look like you know what you're doing. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, this video is being recorded in front of a live studio audience who doesn't appear to want to have anything to do with it. which is their loss, because now we're going to go to the other end. I'll show you that Super Ninja Turbo Logger technique. What we have over here is a lot of dirt, and on this side, more dirt. Just a small clean strip right here. Hey y'all, watch this. What a show off. But let's take a look at what happened here. We did a plunge cut into the clean part of the wood, exited where I knew it was clean, right below the dirty part, came down on this dirty side with the bottom of the chain pulling the dirt away from the log, then finished off this side with the top of the chain pushing the dirt away from the log. With all these techniques, I've been using the tip of my bar a lot. When you're using the tip of the bar, you have to be careful about kickback, which is a dangerous situation where the saw can kick back up at you. You need to have some experience with that before you start using your tip, start doing plunge cuts. I'll put some video links somewhere to some videos that I made about those things, if I remember. What's the real advantage of what I just did here, aside from showing off? One might be if there were obstacles in the way that kept you from getting into that another way. That plunge cut could be a way to get in there and around the dirt, around an obstacle. Or if there's tension in the log and you have to cut one side before you cut the other side to keep your saw from getting pinched or to keep the log from splitting or doing something, you're not only cutting around the dirt, but you're strategically cutting the log in a certain way. Sometimes that plunge cut can help you do whatever you need to do. Now what do we do if there are no clean spots to enter? If the log is dirty all the way around? We could cry, we could stomp our feet, roll around on the ground, throw a tantrum, but I don't think any of that's going to help us out. I don't find it that common to have a log that's dirty all the way around, but it does happen sometimes. You could do what I showed you earlier, do the axe method, just chop a clean spot with an axe, or even grab a stick, knock some of the worst of it off. A lot of times what I will do, use the nail on the end of my log tape just because it's usually there handy. That can do pretty good to clean things up. But still, unless you chop through that bark and get that dirty bark off, you're still going to have dirt in there. Let's pretend this log is dirty all the way around. I would likely start in one of the less dirty spots, if there is one, or a spot that I cleaned up the best I reasonably could. Start out with the bottom part of the bar tip, somewhat like this. As the curved part starts going into the dirty part of the bark, it will be dragging dirt through this bark, but we're minimizing the amount of time that it's doing that. As we dip down into the dirt, there's going to be a little bit of damage happen right here, but as soon as we are there, we're no longer digging down into the dirt, we're only pulling out. Now we have a clean spot to push the bar in. We can either come down like this or do a plunge. There will likely be some damage on that first moment of entry, but once we're in, it's clean cutting from there. None of this is 100%. Even if you are all the time exiting on the dirty side, it still can dull your chain to some degree. Dirty logs dull chainsaws. It's just the way it is. By exiting on the dirty side, we're still going through dirt, especially when you have this deep furrowed bark. The dirt gets down in there, you come out, go through dirt, and then you might go through a little bit of bark. Either way, it's still hitting dirt. We're just slowing down the process of dulling your chain by cutting dirty logs. It's still going to dull your chain, but instead of it immediately making it dull where you have to go sharpen it, by doing it this way, you can get a lot of work done before you have to go sharpen it. Even with my square ground chains, which some people think will go dull if you even mention dirt around them, I can often go a good amount of time cutting dirty logs before I need to go sharpen them. But when it comes to dirt, there's the big elephant in the room, known as that really dirty thing underneath the log that we call the dirt or the ground, which has a lot of dirt in it. It usually is dirt. It's made out of dirt. what do we do when we get down to the bottom of the log and we have that dirt we need to not get our saw into? We'll make another cut here and deal with that whole ground situation. The log's going to make this one easy for us because it's actually clean over here on this side, except for a couple little spots. We'll take care of that situation. If you can take the time to clean up the dirt, that's a good way to go. That was more dramatic than what I pictured, but even if it is on the exit side, it's better to not have that dirt there. A lot of times when I'm in this position, when I get to the bottom, I'll pull the bar back. I'm keeping it parallel to the ground. When I know I'm getting toward the end, I'll slow the chain down and just slowly finish out this cut, making sure the tip of the bar is not sticking out where it can get itself into trouble. I'm spinning the chain slow. I'm watching the sawdust coming out of here. If I notice the color change or the consistency, maybe it turns to more of a powder, that's when I know I'm hitting bark. That's when I stop. I want to stop at the bark, not go clear through the bark into the ground. A lot of times I'm not down here like this, I'm more like this. It's the same thing. I'm making sure that tip is not sticking out when I finish. I keep it right on the edge, and I'm feeling around at the bottom while running the chain a little bit slow, watching the sawdust and feeling for that bark. I want to cut down to the bark, but not through the bark because it's probably going to be dirty on the bottom. And I definitely don't want to go all the way into the ground because I know that thing's dirty. It's made out of dirt, or even worse, sometimes rocks. I'll finish this cut one way, then we'll do the other cut the other way. Did you notice the sawdust change color when we hit the bark? On that last stretch of the cut, we have this lighter wood material coming out, but when we start seeing these darker bark pieces flying out, that's when we stop. Before we get into the dirt, I am setting myself up for success here by cutting the butt end of this thick bark ponderosa pine. It's not always going to be this easy, but this illustrates what we're doing. Of all the cuts I made here, there are many ways you could do it, different than what I did. I just showed you some examples of how you could do it. The main point is, make sure your chain is entering on the clean side, exiting on the dirty side. Even that is not 100% foolproof. When you're cutting dirty logs, eventually your saw is going to get dull. Unless you have some kind of a super turbo chain that I don't know about, all we can really do is slow down that process. I'll put some links to some related videos somewhere, maybe up here, maybe down there. Just look around, you'll find them. Unless I forget to put them there, then you won't find them because they won't be there. Maybe video about how to do the plunge cut, how to avoid kickback. Maybe I'll do a playlist. I'll do something, unless I forget, then I won't do anything. As always, keep your teeth out of the dirt, both the teeth on your saw and these ones too. I think both of those are good life advice.